I join and ruin your shot? Alright, Jenna, wow. Alright, everyone, we good? You got this already? Okay, I'm gonna go right up. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Geno Panganiban, the youngest male mountaineer to conquer the summit of Mount Everest. Wow. Let's move a bit forward so we have enough space for our seats. All right. Geno, it is a pleasure to finally meet you. I've been seeing interviews about you. I've been seeing, the media outlets talking about Geno Panganiban. It is really, truly an honor and a privilege to be sharing this stage with you in front of our media friends. Geno, we watched that video about you and I can't lie, I was completely amazed. Everything we saw there was truly breathtaking, diba? Sobrang ganda. But in your case, it literally took your breath away, diba? Kasi konti na lang talaga yung pwede mong ihinga when you're up there on top. The visuals of Mount Everest and everything that you had to conquer, all of that is just from the video, but we can just imagine what it must have been like seeing it in person. Well, we're excited to hear about your incredible journey to the summit of Mount Everest. But before that, we want to get to know you a little deeper. Sino ba si Geno Panganiban beyond the remarkable mountaineer? Now, what I heard is before you started climbing mountains, you actually had a regular desk job. Sinabi kanina ni Sir Greg, you're a software engineer. Tell us your story. Paano nagsimula tong love for climbing mountains?
Una sa lahat, good day sa lahat, good afternoon to everyone, and I'm just so happy and proud because after 18 years, we finally put a Filipino back on Mount Everest.
Almost 2 decades since the last Filipino was there last.
Okay, so now going back to your question, Miss Jelly. So, galing kasi ako sa computer science degree.
Okay.
And nung nag-graduate na ako, I got into software engineering and I work as a software engineer for 6 years. And umabot na sa point na nahihiya na ako sa boss ko kasi lahat ng vacation leave ko, lahat ng sick leave ko, nag-leave without pay ako para lang makapag-climb, So, yun na talaga yung passion ko.
Kailan siya nagsimula? Kasi from the sound of it, bago ka pa nagsimulang magtrabaho, hilig mo na talagang pumanik ng bundok. Kailan siya nagsimula?
Nagsimula siya nung third year college ako. I was just envious, but more curious sa ginagawa ng friends ko at that time. Because they had so many pictures, interesting pictures about nature, the mountains. So ako naman na-curious ako na, ano bang meron dyan? Baka pwede ko subukan, And yung mga time na yun, medyo hesitant pa yung parents ko kasi ako lang yung nag-hike sa family namin.
Oo, wala pa sila masyadong alam.
Yeah. So, doon na-introduce na sa akin yung nature, yung outdoors. So, dahan-dahan ako na in love sa ganda ng Pilipinas.
Oh, wow. So, nagsimula pala talaga siya sa college bago ka pa nagtrabaho. Paano ka umabot sa, okay, napanig ko na itong mga bundok na to, Mount Everest naman.
Well, I think that at that time, nagkakaroon ako ng realizations na I think I'm hiking too much. Naapektuhan na yung career ko. And naisip ko, bakit hindi ako magkaroon ng farewell climb, ng graduation climb. And naisip ko, baka pwede akong pumunta sa Himalayas. Yun na yung last climb ko.
Kasi tatapusin mo na to.
Kasi halos nakakit ko na yung mga matataas sa Pilipinas. Gusto ko na ng farewell climb. And going to Everest Base Camp, it's a bucket list for Filipino mountaineers. And yun yung naisip ko. And then my friends, si Mami Ra, si Daddy Freddy, in-invite nila ako to go to the Himalayas. And there, una kong nasilayan yung beauty of the Himalayan mountain range. So, totoo yung sinasabi nilang tawag ng bundok.
Tawag ng bundok. So yung supposed to being farewell climb mo ang nagsimula sa lahat. You know, for mountaineers, they say there's what you call a mother mountain. Yung pinakauna mo, alin ba to?
Yung pinakita siya kanina sa video yun yung Mount Talamitam sa Nasugbu, Batangas, no? And consider siya sa isa sa matataling bundok na akyatin. Pero at that time, wala naman kasing nagkagabay sa akin yun. So, I was, naka-sleeveless lang ako, wala akong dalang tubig. So, it was a hell experience for me. Pero sa kabilaan ng suffering ko, climbing that mountain, sobrang fulfilling pala makasabit. So, lahat ng pagod ko nawala.
Ito nagsimula talaga. From conquering that first mountain of yours to Mount Everest, anong masasabi mong differences between the two?
Ang laki ng difference kasi tayo as Filipinos, we're used to having only two seasons here. So meron tayong summer and rainy season, and nasa tropical country tayo, so mostly jungle yung trail, no? Pero pagdating sa Himalayas, tumataas na yung altitude, may snow, may ice, puro rock. So, ibang-iba yung terrain talaga. And gumagamit na kami ng special equipment to climb.
So what led you to finally decide, you know what, it is time, Mount Everest na talaga?
Last year, I risked to climb my first 8,000 meter peak. That was Mount Manaslu, 8,163 meters. And that was my first experience in using supplemental oxygen. And it was my first experience with the dead zone. And after summiting that mountain, we were the first Filipinos to actually summit that mountain.
Oh, wow!
And after summiting that, nagkaroon na ako ng confidence na, okay, I think it's time for Mount Everest.
Okay, run it by everyone here. I'm curious, meron bang mga mountaineers dito? Okay, meron? Aside from yung mga kasama ni Jeno, anyone from the media, can you paint the picture for us of what it entails? Kasi like, gaya na sinabi mo, dito sa Pilipinas, dalawa lang yung seasons natin, hot, rainy. Ano ba yung klaseng training? Paano mo sisimulan kung gusto mong pumanik ng Mount Everest? Kasi if there's something I do know from research then, if you want to climb Mount Everest, there are only a few days in a year. It's not even weeks, it's just a few days in a year, about 10 days, the entire year na pwede kayong pumanik. So do you just go there and then start climbing within those 10 days? Ano yung preparation na kailangan?
So, sa isang taon, no, ang climbing season talaga ng Mount Everest ay sa May. Ito yung spring sa Nepal. And during spring, this is the friendliest season of the year in that region.
So friendly pa yun sa lagay na yun?
Yes.
Okay.
And any other month to climb Mount Everest would be worse. So it's gonna be colder, it's more windy, the crevasses are wider. So May is the most ideal time to climb it. So before May, we should have accomplished and finished our training na. And yung training includes yung exposure sa high altitude, yung to build the mental toughness sa snow, sa malakas na hangin, and to actually be exposed dun sa technical skills na gagamitin. Kasi hindi lang siya basta walk. We are exposed sa ganyan, sa ropes, climbing up and coming down using a rope, and using mountaineering boots and spikes and all.
Tell us, ilang buwan, ilang linggo, ilang beses kang pumupunta dun sa base camp para mag-practice. Practice pa lang yan ha, it's part of the training. Nakakailang trips ka na doon?
I've been going to Nepal since 2022. So, more than 5 times na ako nakapag-Nepal. And base camp, madaming beses na din. And every time na pupunta ako sa Nepal, inaakyat ko yung mga nearby peaks ng Everest para malaman ko kung kaya ko ba. Diba? Nagtitraining ako pero hindi ko pa actually alam kung kakayanin ko unless akyatin ko talaga eh. So, doon ko nalaman, doon na-build yung confidence ko. So,
You know, Jenna, based on the videos that you shared with our team, I can see that you have your own oxygen tank. Tapos makikita din, even when we look at you up close, nakikita pa namin yung marks ng oxygen tank. Can you share with us the feeling of climbing Mount Everest? Kasi based on research, nalaman ko din na pag nandun ka na sa pinakatuktok, you can't even eat much, you can't drink much, you can't even breathe much. But we want to hear from you. Ano ba yung experience na yun?
Climbing up Mount Everest is, I think, the most enduring experience that I've experienced in my life. No? You can imagine we are at high altitude, so every step counts talaga. And we can say na if naglakad ako from here to there, hihingalin na ako. So every step counts. I'm wearing a 5 kilo down suit. My boots weigh 3 kilos. My spikes weigh around less than 2 kilos. Yung oxygen tank ko 4 kilos. And it feels heavier than that kasi yung taas na eh. And we're faced with extreme weather conditions. Umabot na kami sa negative 40 degrees Celsius. And winds at 80 kilometers per hour.
Winds at 80 kilometers per hour. That's what's blowing at them.
Yes, and hindi naman siya pwede basta indahin. Kaya meron kaming wind burns. So, mention mo kanina, no? Wala na rin kaming appetite kasi yung lack of oxygen nakaka-apekto na sa katawan namin, and for more than a month we're just drinking snow water, pinakulong snow.
For more than a month, that's how long he is there training just to reach that summit. Now, Jenna, as a mountaineer, can you share with us the struggle, the experience that we will never know about unless we go through exactly what you went through? Something that truly shows how difficult it is to climb Mount Everest, and then what you did, what you thought, what you felt, for you to be able to conquer all that.
I think the first challenge would be overcoming yung symptoms ng acute mountain sickness na kasi once you are exposed to high altitude, you'd get cough, colds, diarrhea, and all that. So we have to naturally adapt our body to the environment, and that took time. And the next challenge would be crossing the Kumbu Ice Fall. So it's located at the highest glacier on Earth, and the Kumbu Ice Fall is located between the base camp and Camp 1. And itong ice fall na to, no, it's composed of the huge crevasses, rocks, the ice towers na anytime pwede kami mabagsakan and anytime pwede mag-avalanche. So, crossing this ice fall, napakalaking risk talaga para sa amin. And nung nakalabas na kami doon, so it's a long push to Camp 4 and another longer push to the summit.
Okay, that is physical and mental strength that's needed just to be able to do that, to keep at it. But we also know sobrang importante ng nutrition. You have to really support your body with what it is about to go through. I wanted to ask you, how did Century Tuna help you achieve your nutrition goals preparing for this climb?
Unang-una, napaka-physically demanding ng activity and hindi naman kami spoiled doon sa pagkain, no? So, and natatrack ko na on average, we're losing 3,000 or more calories per day. So, the best way to recover is yung kailangan ko damihan yung protein intake ko. And nakapag-hoard naman talaga ako ng Century Tuna.
Hoarding. Nakakain ba yung Century Tuna as you're climbing up the summit? Ano yung, kasi iniisip ko sa sobrang lamig, ano yung mga pwede niyong kainin when you're when you're doing your climb?
Unang-una, hindi ako papayag na walang rice eh.
As a true Filipino, okay?
So, usually we eat lentils, soup, tsaka mga instant noodles. So, yung meat, especially meat with flavor, gold na siya para sa amin. And habang tumataas ako, na nag-yelo yung mga pagkain namin. So, may dala kaming stove and yung fuel namin. Pero kung mag-indulge talaga ako sa pagkain, after a long climb, siguro nung time na umakit ako to country, then bumalik ako sa base camp, ni-reward ko talaga yung sarili ko with Century Tuna.
Yun yung reward mo sa sarili mo. Alright. Kaya nag-importante na nakapag-hoard ka. Now, I just want to ask, after Mount Everest, you're done with this, what is next for Cheno Panganiban? Na-reach mo na yung very top eh. Ano nang susunod?
Yung goal nung team namin is to climb all the 8,000 meter peaks in the world. Lahat ng bundok na may death zone. So, it's going to be a test of human capability, no? And I've already summited 2 of those 8,000 meter mountains. And our next project would be the second highest mountain naman. And my goal is to put a Filipino in the Pakistan mountain range, no? To be the first Filipino.
Baka naman natin si Jeno representing the Philippines through all that. Oh wow. Going back to the video that we saw earlier, you are a man of many hats. You are a son, a former corporate professional, an athlete, a businessman. How did you manage to balance all those roles while pursuing your dreams? Kasi yun yung gusto naming malaman lahat. Paano mo nagagawa yun while not neglecting any of your other roles?
Hindi ko siya magagawa without the support of my family, my parents, my fiance who does everything. So, there's that.
Kanina may shinare si Sir Greg na even in the short time that Century got to work with you, can you tell everyone out here how short a time did you give Century Tuna to decide to partner with you and sponsor you for this climb?
That's a really good question, Miss Jenny. At that time, I was already leaving for Mount Everest, and the only sponsor I got was from my best friend who supported me throughout the years. And when I was finalizing already my gear, my friend connected me to Century Tuna, and sinubukan lang namin, no? And I was so happy na merong naniniwala sa akin, pero merong naniniwala sa Filipino mountaineers. So, sobrang laking, sobrang sarap sa pakiramdam na merong naniniwalang gano'n. For me to risk my life, no? Wala naman kasi akong assurance na mabibigay sa Century Tuna na I will come back alive. Eh. So, for them to trust me and for me to give the victory to bring home glory, napakalaking bagay yun. So, sobrang pasasalamat ko sa Century Tuna. Not only nakapag-provide sila with my needs, no? Pero yung support talaga.
And this was how many days before you climbed up?
5 days na lang, aalis na ako for Nepal.
I think we need to highlight that because other companies would have said 5 days we are not given enough time for the paperwork, marami pang pagdadaanan yan, and 5 days. Century Tuna already as a company said, we are going to support you on this. A man that they've never met before, they believed in him and they saw that he is a man of his word. They saw his determination. Can we give a round of applause for this beautiful partnership between Century Tuna and Geno Panginiban? You know, they say it takes a village to raise a child, and that is true in many aspects of life. Geno couldn't have conquered Mount Everest without the support and guidance of the people behind him, yung mga pinasalamatan niya kanina. With that, we are honored to have a special guest with us this afternoon to share more about Geno's preparation and training. Let us all give a warm welcome to the person he calls Daddy, Coach Freddie Magsino.